Griffiths, how are we, mate?
I'm great, thank you. How are you?
I'm good, mate. Good to see you. Can't believe, if you'd have said to me 10 years ago that I'd be interviewing you at Villa Park before Premier League game, I think people would be coming for me and probably for you in white
I would have been
coats.
surprised that I wasn't playing for either of the teams by then. I mean, I'm still feel, well, 40 actually.
Yeah, you do, huh?
But yeah, it's,
so you're keeping in shape, aren't you?
I'm trying to keep in shape. I've got ridiculous challenges like the Cotswold Way 100k to train for. So that's the only thing that's keeping me going at the moment. Otherwise, I don't really like spending time in the gym.
I don't think you could juggle being a pro with challenges like that.
Well, no, I mean, I tried to do a couple whilst I was still playing, and in all fairness, I'd done the Tough Mudder, but it was out of season. Just got lucky. It was out of season. I still had the fitness from the last few games of the season, so I still had a reason to keep the body fat down and keep myself in shape. I've got to be honest, I'm yo-yoing a bit with it at the moment. I'm trying so hard to have a reason to stay fit and healthy. And if nothing else, keeping up with my son is the main reason. He is a whirlwind. But, yeah, I mean, I'm trying. It's going okay.
Yeah. Well, we are here at Villa Park. Luton about to play here in the Premier League. But as I say, 10 years. Beautiful place, and incredible to think that you were flying up and, well, I say flying, you were running up and down the left flank for Luton in the conference 10 years ago. Obviously, John Still, so you know Stilly very, very well, and he took you from Aveley to Dagenham about 15, 20 years ago now, and that's how, I guess 18, that's how you...
So it was roughly about 19 years ago. That's incredible. I can't believe it's been that long. Yeah, so a lot of people over the years have said me and John Still have had a love-hate relationship. I would agree with that a lot of the time. He loves to hate me, and no, he's obviously brought me through from one club to another, and then sold me to what I believe is one of his good friends that was a very good club at the time, Peterborough. And then once my time was done there, I spoke to John Still, and he said, you know, fancy winning a league? Do you want another medal to hang on the wall? I said, yeah, why not?
Is that what he said?
No, but you know, I'm paraphrasing, but you know, I knew what was going to happen. If I was going to go there and John Still was going to put his method into place, it wasn't going to be long before we were top of the league. And I know that sounds very sort of, look at us, you know, it's not very modest, but I've seen what can happen with a poor budget. Thinking of Dagenham and Ribridge's poor budget that we had at the time, and the right group of players just come together well, worked hard for each other. He knew how to create a close, tight-knit team of players. I think what was he saying is his best 11, not his 11 best. All these little sayings.
All these little sayings, yeah.
And so, yeah, I knew that, especially with some of the other players that I knew that were coming in or I knew that were already there. And I thought this is definitely a way to go for success. So, yeah.
What was, you talk about John's methods then and that methodology. In a nutshell, in a sentence, what exactly is that? Or is it, I mean, it's just pure John Still, isn't it?
Well, he doesn't necessarily go out to get the best players. He goes out, I mean, he has obviously attracted some good players over the years, but by the looks of the method that I've been seeing at Luton and the other clubs he was at, he went out to find players that would die for you, run through brick walls for you, who he knew that he could mould from a young age and financially take advantage of. I speak from experience as my two-figure contract when I was a 17-year-old boy. I'm sure many people would be hilariously interested to know that I had to supplement it as a 17-year-old or an 18-year-old with a pizza round. But yeah, he went after players who were hungry, not players that had an ego, and then he moulded them into the way of, a lot of it was statistic football, you know, for instance, don't mess about. I mean, that's not statistical football, that's just standard, don't mess about in your box, play in the right areas. He had a method, as I said before, probably repeating myself again, but every club he goes to he puts something in place. You can't build a winning squad. I mean, obviously we done well 1 year in and we were successful, but you can't build a winning squad from 1 year or 2 years. You need to be given time. It surprises me how some of these Premiership teams do what they do, considering most of them, they're in and out of managers so quickly. Nobody has the time to really get settled and actually build a rapport, build like just an overall feeling to the team.
And I mean, that's what John did. He built that team. He did it pretty much straight away. What was the feeling? I mean, you joined at the back end of last season. I think John himself. Yeah. There was a couple of games where he didn't even go to. I'm not sure if you played in that game at Gateshead. Did you play in that game at Gateshead?
That's a big ask to remember that.
Yeah, it was a Carlisle. We lost, and John didn't come to the game. He was scouting Elliot Justin, I think. But so I think you came anyway. You came in at the back of that season. Did you think that the following season that it could happen?
Yeah, I mean, all the time. I know it's, once again, it sounds so sort of, well, we can do anything, we can do this, we can do that. But you know, when you just get a feeling about things, as I say, like playing with some of the players in the back end of the season, for instance, Ronnie Emery, I knew that he was a decent player, had the fitness to play the wing-back role if he needed to as well. Trying to remember back, I'm pretty sure Alex Lawless was there at the time before me, and I mean I sort of half knew him, not personally, but half knew him from Forest Green. I think I watched him briefly when Forest Green beat Oxford to help us win the league actually for Dagenham, and I saw him then and realised he was a good player. He was a playmaker, he had ability and fitness, and that's just one of the great parts of the recipe. Is that, you know, you need to, well, the pre-seasons say, oh, if you can't keep up with the pre-seasons, then you're not going to make it into the team, and he run us into the ground. In Portugal, roasting hot, he run us into the ground. But we used to run teams into the ground. That's what we did. We sort of played when we could, but we knew that 80 minutes, 85 minutes come, nobody's keeping up with us generally, unless they had exceptionally fit players as well.
And as far as the season's concerned, got off to a bit of a slow start, didn't we?
Just ignore that one. Yeah,
I mean, John always used to say that as well, actually, like that his teams would always grow into seasons, and there might be a few bumps in the road at the start.
Yeah, so definitely, it showed throughout his managing career. It might not be a great start, but the gelling process with the players, as I say, when the fitness comes through, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. And as long as you finish on form, or at least hit form halfway through, then you should be all right. If you hit form earlier than that and you keep it, I mean, then you're going to be up there somewhere, aren't you?
And when you came into the club, I mean, there was a lot of outside noise, if you like. So the fans were a little bit disappointed, well, not a little bit disappointed, very disappointed that we'd been in the conference for so long. Yeah. Were you kind of aware of that?
As someone who pays almost no attention to football at all, and many players will justify to that, testify to that. I don't really follow. I barely followed the team I was in at the time, not here but anywhere. So knowing a team's history was always going to be sort of a bit difficult. I did do my research eventually and realised that, you know, the 30 years of hurt, the 30-point deduction, the years of hurt, and by the sounds of it, it was a bit dodgy, a bit unjustified. There was a lot of passion there. Speaking to one of my sponsors, my sponsor at the time, a lovely guy, he talked me through what had happened and how desperate they were to get back to, well, the position they deserve to be in. I mean, the ground don't necessarily at the moment say Premiership. Maybe 2 or 3 sides of it do, but the atmosphere, the fans, the support, the club, everything about it, the attitude towards it does say Premiership, and it doesn't say relegation battle either. It says you know, we deserve to be here, and it's, well, I don't know if anybody heard me say this before, but I wanted to finish my career at Luton, and not when I did. I wanted a few more years. I would have happily stayed there for a long time. I do remember briefly in the pre-season that we won the league, having a quick interview at the side of the training pitch just as we were playing a bit of keep ball, and I'm sure I remember saying, we're going to win the league this year. Somewhere in the archives.
I'll have to look in the archives.
You have to look, because I'm almost certain. My memory's not great, but I do know that I did mention that we were going to do really well this season, possibly even win the league, and
so it proved.
So the lads didn't let me down.
Yeah, and you played every single game, I think.
Well, you know, no coincidence, is it? No coincidence.
In a team that kept 23 clean sheets. I mean, Mark Tyler didn't have anything to do, did he, because of you guys?
Well, you know, he asked me to try and help him out, so, you know, I didn't. He's getting on a bit, weren't he? Still looked like a young lad, but he wasn't called up. No, Tiles, he is a great guy, and I'm glad that he didn't have much to do. I mean, when he did have something to do, he was called upon, and he was in fantastic form. He pulled off some great saves. He did he give you that confidence as well? Yeah, I mean, you knew that he was behind you, and you knew that you had no worries. But to be fair, even when he wasn't in, Elliot, you knew the same thing with him. I don't know whether Tiles rubs off on him, or if it was the training that he got from the backroom staff, or how it was, but either one of those keepers, I knew that I had something safe behind me. I knew that I could pass back to the keeper and he wasn't going to miss kick it. I knew that I could trust the right sort of verbal communication, which is massive. Like, if you know what you're doing, if someone behind you can see the picture and they can tell you what to do, show you what to do, then, you know, that's half the battle. And yeah, it was having all those clean sheets.
Is Steve McNulty alongside you as well?
Yeah, he was obviously a big personality, and I've got to be honest, we did have disagreements over the years, but I still, and I think that he was well, we still would have died for each other in that situation. Outside of football, we didn't spend much time together, but I know that he was just as passionate as I was for the club, and well,
I guess you need that in a team as well. Like,
yeah.
if everyone is, you know, on the same
Yeah.
page when it comes to, you know, John Still's ethos and trying to get Luton back in the league, then that's what you do, isn't it?
Yeah.
What was the feeling at the end of the season then?
Incredible.
Lifting the trophy.
Incredible. Being on the pitch with my wife as well and all the fans, just in such joy. It was incredible. I think seeing John Still run up to see his family as well, that was nice to see. But just overall feeling of, I don't really know the word, to be honest. There isn't really a word to describe it. It doesn't matter if you've won it once or 100 times, it's amazing.
So you left Luton after a couple of seasons after that. You said earlier that you wanted to stay at Luton for the rest of your career. And since you've left football, left Luton, you had a little spell at Woking on loan, and there was a couple of contracts that you didn't get to sign elsewhere. But you're not in football anymore. What are you doing?
No, the closest I get to a football is an attempt at five-a-side with my poor knees on a Sunday evening. But I'm actually self-employed now. I've been through a few different things. I'm qualified in plastering. I'm also a multi-trades person, highly professional. We do have a company, S&J Property Maintenance.
Plug, yeah.
Of course, yes. But yeah, it's going well. Just getting into some bigger jobs, some higher-end clients as well. All my clients are high-end, no matter where they're from. I love them. But you know, it's going well, thank you.
Great. Hey Scott, well, it's amazing to see you. Amazing to see you at Villa Park 10 years on from the conference.
You know, it's great to see you and all you guys. I just want to say, I did try to message everybody to say congratulations on the Prem win, but unfortunately I had nobody's number.
Scott, top man, thank you so much.
Thank you, I appreciate it.